Ready to go.
Hey, what's happening? San Diego. Welcome into it post-game coverage. And a Wednesday edition of Gwynn and Chris for you. Short show, but a little longer than you might expect. We will be here past 6 o'clock tonight, right on up till 7 p.m. So an extra hour, actually, of Gwynn and Chris, Matt Skraby alongside Tony Gwynn Jr., along with the Padres, heading to Arizona, off day tomorrow, and then right back to it. Padres will take on the Arizona Diamondbacks starting on Friday. Lots to talk about in today's 5-2 loss to the Dodgers. Lots of opinions about lots of decisions that were made today. One in particular made by Mike Schilt. One in particular made by Fernando Tatis Jr., and one in particular made by Manny Machado. All three went against the Padres today. And as a result, it was the Dodgers who take the series, the final score 5-2. They go 2 games up on the Padres in the NL West. And the Padres will do no better than third place by the time they get to Arizona on Friday. The Giants are also ahead of the Padres and are unlikely to lose before then. They have 2 games left in Colorado before the weekend starts.
They had to make a comeback last night.
But they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's the Rockies. It was 5-2, 9th inning, and
just get it done.
And then there was 2 outs, and then hit, double hit, whatever. I mean, it was, just a game that only the Rockies, the historically bad Rockies, could lose last night. So, Giants got that win. But let's talk about this game. And before we get too deep into it, because emotionally, I think all of us are a little bit I'm a little down and out by what I saw today mostly.
Really?
But for the whole series entirely. And I'll tell you what I mean in a second. But I don't want to get too down and out because here's the thing. The Padres today finished a stretch of playing 13 games in 13 days. They're getting on that plane. They're heading to Arizona. They have a day off tomorrow. And then guess what? They got 13 more games in 13 more days. I guarantee you that's how they're looking at this.
Yes.
And they get on the plane today and they say, well, we went 7-6 on the first part of that, which is what their record was in these 13 games. 8-5 would have been better, but you know what? 5-8 would have been worse.
Yep.
So they're going to take the 7-6 and they're going to say to themselves, let's do that again, and survive a really difficult stretch against a bunch of good teams and be better than 500 and keep on trucking toward where we want to get, which is to the postseason. And despite losing this series, I do truly believe there will be October baseball in San Diego. Now, having said that, as this game wore on today, and I think as this series wore on, I came to a conclusion that I didn't really want to admit to. But it is something that I'm pretty sure everybody who's followed baseball before, during, and after the season is over has already decided. I wasn't ready to give in to this, but I'm afraid that I have to.
What are you talking about?
The Dodgers are just better.
Oh, don't go there.
They are better. And here is the problem, Skrabe.
Don't go there.
I just went there because after their top 4 hitters, they bring up guys that are threats at the plate. Muncy, Pajes, Edman, Conforto. Their number 9 hitter is hitting .406. The Dodgers lineup is deeper. It's better. The Padres have way too many automatic outs in that lineup. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know how the Padres are 38-29, other than to say that they got off to the 14-3 start, because the last 50 games, they're now 24-26, which is a large sample size. And you can make whatever excuses you want for it, injuries, this, that, the other. 50 games is a pretty large sample size. They're 24 and 26. And here's why. Because Manny just cannot win every game. He just can't.
No.
And the one game they won last night, I know was 11-1. Everybody frolicked and had a great time. Manny had 5 RBIs. He won the game again. And he didn't win it today when he had the chance to. The problem is, who's going to pick him up? And right now, the answer to that question is no one. Who are you worried about? Especially against the left-hander. And I understand that the Dodgers are more equipped than most teams to be able to just continue to throw lefties at you out of that bullpen, one after another, which makes Merrill not nearly as dangerous. It basically makes Sheets an automatic out. Sheets is hitting 180 against lefties this year. The Chris Sale home run notwithstanding. That was one great swing. The rest of it, he's nothing against lefties. Bogarts, unfortunately, isn't much of a threat against either side. Cronenworth against lefties doesn't give you much. Tyler Wade, he's not great against lefties. And your option there is to bring in Brandon Lockridge, which isn't too dangerous. And then you're down to Maldonado or Diaz.
Campusano.
He did come in last night. I was
He
shocked.
still does not have a hit.
They dusted him off last night. But I don't know how the Padres are doing what they're doing when the 4 through 9 guys, none of them engender an ounce of confidence at the plate right now. And unfortunately, you can even include Fernando in that at the top. So Manny Machado or bust. This is what they have right now. Now, it's not hopefully going to last forever, right? Some of these guys are going to have to get going. Maryland Tatis specifically, because as we discussed yesterday, I don't expect Bogarts and Cronenworth to do a whole lot better than they're doing. This is what they are. I've kind of come to grips with that. Bogey's hitting 240 with 21 RBIs. Cronenworth's hitting 237 with 15. They have 7 homers between them. There isn't much. I'm getting there. And I'm not getting much after that either, because until I get myself a left fielder, I have Wade. And Wade's done great for what Wade is, but it's still not a huge threat. And I have Lockridge, and then I have the catchers who are an automatic out at the bottom of the order. The Dodgers don't have any of those concerns. And the one area that I felt, and you felt, that the Padres had an advantage over the Dodgers. I know, I'm talking to the people listening.
Yes, I know.
Talking to the people listening. The one area where we almost are sure that we have an advantage over the Dodgers, we don't. And that is the bullpen. If you look at the 2 games in this series that the Dodgers won, their bullpen beat our bullpen both times. And this is what has gotten me to the final conclusion that for us to, beat them, win the division, hey, look, we can beat them in a series simply because any team can beat any other team in a series. And I believe that the Padres are good enough. They showed it already a couple years ago. They nearly showed it last year. But Skraby, if you watched this series and you come to any other conclusion other than the fact that the Dodgers are just better, they don't have to be a lot better. I don't think they're 30 games better like a lot of people thought, but they're better. And it's going to be difficult to beat them. You've got to be almost perfect to beat them. And obviously the Padre bullpen was not on Monday, and it was certainly not today. The Dodgers bullpen was pretty much perfect.
I can't say that for Monday nights because the Padres had, I can't say that the Dodgers were that much better on Monday night. They won an extra inning game. I don't think I don't think it was that bad.
Do you care to go back and look at the performances of their bullpen Monday
No,
night?
I'm trying not to say something that's going to get people, like, Skraby just talks out of the side of his mouth all the time.
Stop worrying about what everybody else is going to say out there. Make your point and stand behind
trust
it.
me.
That's
I'm
fine.
standing behind my point. I don't
your
take
point
things
and stand
back.
behind it. Stop worrying about these people out there. These people out there think that if we just leave Xander Bogaerts at home on this road trip, we can't lose.
Got a couple people saying fire the hitting coach, which would help nothing.
They don't understand. So let's move on. But Monday night, the Dodger bullpen, 5 innings, 1 hit. That's shutting the other team down.
Okay, yes.
Today they did something similar in the bullpen after Kasperius left. Today the Dodgers pitched 5 innings in the bullpen and allowed 1 hit. Their bullpen at least pitched as well as ours, and that is where I go back to. I thought our bullpen was better. I don't know that it is.
At the moment, it's not.
Well, it wasn't this week, and that is why the Dodgers won the series. And there's one more thing that the Dodgers can do that for whatever reason we cannot do. And I don't have an answer for it. And I understand that every time I say it, Tony Gwynn Jr. rolls his eyes because I don't know how you coach it. I don't know how you quantify it. I just know that it is. The home run by Teoscar Hernandez today was the 20th 3-run homer the Dodgers have hit this year. The Padres have still hit only 3.
I just died.
Yeah, I know you did.
Because I'm tired of it. It doesn't matter. They're still winning games without a 3-run home run.
They didn't win this one. 3-run homers win games. And the second that ball disappeared over the center field fence today, your first thought and mine was, that's probably game.
No, I did not think that whatsoever.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. Good.
I really didn't.
Okay. Good.
When did he? What inning was that?
It was in the 5th.
Yeah, I did not. Yeah, I definitely did not think it was over.
Man, it was though, because that turned out to be all they needed.
It's easy to say that now.
Yes, it is. 3-run home runs win games, and the Padres, I don't know why they don't hit them. They haven't. The statistics don't lie. They don't make any sense, but they also don't lie. And those big swings are what this Padre team is missing, at least throughout the first 67 games of this season.
We know that this team is not going to stay this way the entire year. So just win some games, get yourself to the trade deadline, get yourself to the All-Star break, be in contention, make some trades, shore up this team. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get rid of Bogaerts and replace him with an all-star.
I don't know that.
And
that's
if you can find an all-star in left field, you're going to also need to find 2 or 3 healthy starting pitchers. They have a lot to get done in the next month. And a lot of people think that, just because you want to do it means it's going to happen. As we've discussed before, unfortunately, no other team in baseball is in the business of making the Padres better. So it's not going to be as easy as you all think to get what you all think we need. Like I said, please go back to what I said before this rant. I still believe in this team. I believe they're going to be there in the end. But emotionally, I felt like I took a shot or two this week watching these 3 games.
I don't know why.
I told you why.
Yes, I know why.
I'm not just saying it off the cuff.
It's like getting swept by the Mariners. You didn't care.
No.
But,
no.
I don't think that Mike Schilt lost this game for them today, but I do think that he made a bad decision by pulling Randy Vasquez, and everybody disagrees with me.
Well, we are going to get into that. We are going to get into the decision that Fernando made that may have cost the team today. We'll also get into the decision that Manny made that may have cost the team today. And we will talk more about what you want to talk about, and that's Mike Schilt's decision to remove Vasquez in the 5th inning. However, before we get to it, Skraby, during the break, I want you to do just a little homework. Can you do that?
I've already done some. What is it?
I want you to do a little more before you argue against Mike Schilt.
Okay.
I want you to go onto Baseball Reference or wherever it is that you go.
Already been there.
And I want you to look up.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Why?
Because this was not the same pitcher today. You got to have a little feel for the game. Like, I get it. He gives up his average third time through the order over 300. Guy was not the same guy we've seen all year. He was cruising. He gave up that home run to Conforto, but then you're going to pull him? That sends a terrible message, in my opinion.
I will tell you this, and then we'll take the break, and then we'll continue the discussion. And it will be a discussion. It will not be you yelling over me.
I know I'm yelling because I have been told that stat by about 5 million people, but that's the easy way out. Like, he had 70% strikes today.
And he
threw 70 pitches.
Look, I thought he was fabulous. I loved his performance today.
He was not a traffic cop.
But can I tell you that Morejon was already in the bullpen warming up before Conforto homered? That decision was made before that fifth inning ever started. That if Vasquez had to face Ohtani in the fifth inning with a 1-0 lead or 1-1, they were going to go and trust their great bullpen to try to win the game.
Well, it was a bad move.
We'll discuss it further when Gwynn and Chris continues.
Coming up on Thursday's show, we'll have
I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And, like, guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is, like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days. So making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute. And a lot of that's just been, better communication with the staff. And I'm really excited this year to be able to sit in more of the coaches' meetings and see how they game plan and how they, come about their approach to certain teams. And I feel like when I come back in 26, I'm going to have a whole plethora of knowledge and things that I hadn't experienced before to add into my game. So.
I just have to say this. I play with a lot of guys, and not all of them are going to take as serious as Joe is taking this part serious, which is getting into those coaches' meetings. Coaches are here a lot earlier than the players,
Are they, man?
especially during spring training. So the fact that he's going to be willing to do that, I think that's awesome, man. That's what separates you from a lot of these other guys out there.
Right.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here, Padres pitcher, 97.3 The Fan. And I have to ask from the fan perspective, because Tony, every day on the show, whenever a team in the National League West signs a new big-name player, all of us fans are kind of like, why? And Tony says it doesn't matter. They still have to go out and play the games. Right. When you see that happen, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different perspective as a player. Our job is, our goal doesn't change regardless of whether we add, and that stuff's, out of our control. So you never want to sit here going into an offseason saying, we're going to be fired up if we get this guy and this guy, and not if we don't get this guy. So you look at our team, and a lot of people see all the moves being made and don't see us making moves, and it seems like a mismatch in the division. All these other teams are adding, but you look at our roster, I mean, we spent a lot of money over the last handful of years and committed a lot of guys to be here long term, and the value in having those guys return every year and continue to build that relationship and that growth is every bit as valuable as adding a new free agent. So
love that.
I think with the progress we made last year, and you guys will never understand how we feel. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it on the field and how we carry ourselves and, the camaraderie and stuff, but you'll never truly understand just how close that group got last year. And although we didn't, achieve the ultimate goal of winning the World Series, we grew a ton as a team. We grew a ton as, a unit. And I'm super excited that we got most of these guys coming back. We got the whole staff coming back, and we can kind of pick up where we left off.
Well, last one for me, because you kind of just hit on it, and I think it's so important. The continuity, right? This is, year maybe 3, 4 of this nucleus being
right.
together. How much of an impact can that have on a team, having guys who have been in the locker room together for so long?
Yeah, a ton. And, Schulte's big thing is shared experiences. We got guys from all over the league, some guys that are new and have experienced things that most rookies don't, and some guys that have been around 10-plus years that have, been in championship locker rooms and been around the best of the best. So sharing those experiences with each other and helping each other grow along the way, not just, providing, assistance and,
right.
Coaching, but like sharing experiences and helping guys grow a little bit through, what you've been through is a big thing for us.
Joe Musgrove, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one we got here, man. Joe, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Pleasure, man.
Quick healings, and enjoy the rest of your day,
sir.
man.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in
right.
that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just
right.
trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be.
Right.
And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation,
right.
that could lean on you a little
right.
bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days. So making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute. And a lot of that's just been, better communication with the staff. And I'm really excited this year to be able to sit in more of the coaches' meetings and see how they game plan and how they, come about their approach to certain teams. And I feel like when I come back in 26, I'm going to have a whole plethora of knowledge and things that I hadn't experienced before to add into my game. So.
I just have to say this. I've played with a lot of guys, and not all of them are going to take as serious as Joe is taking this part serious, which is getting into those coaches' meetings. Coaches are here a lot earlier than the players,
Are they, man?
especially during spring training. So the fact that he's going to be willing to do that, I think that's awesome, man. That's what separates you from a lot of these other guys out there.
Right.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here, Padres pitcher, 97.3 The Fan, and I have to ask from the fan perspective, because Tony every day on the show, whenever a team in the National League West signs a new big-name player, all of us fans are kind of like, why? And Tony says it doesn't matter. They still have to go out and play the games. Right. When you see that happen, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different perspective as a player. Our job is, our goal doesn't change regardless of whether we add, and that stuff's, out of our control. So you never want to sit here going into an offseason saying, we're going to be fired up if we get this.
So many things happen in the game today. Ultimately, the Dodgers got a 3-run home run from Teoscar Hernandez. That was the difference, whether you want to admit it or not, Skrabe. The 3-run home run was the difference in the game. Dodgers win 5-2. They take the series. It is the first series loss for the Padres this year to a National League team at Petco Park, which isn't bad considering we're this deep into the season.
Exactly.
The only other National League series the Padres have lost this year was in Chicago, and that was a while ago at Wrigley Field.
Yes.
To the Cubs. They split 4 in San Francisco. Other than that, the Padres have won every other series against National League teams. They hope to get back to that this weekend against the Diamondbacks. Arizona finished off a sweep of the Mariners today. All right, let's get to some of the stuff that happened in this game today, and we'll get to all of it. So the segment is called Notes on a Scorecard. Here is my scorecard.
Oh, my goodness. I have never seen that many notes.
Yes, otherwise known as my wife's shopping list.
What did Chris like? What does Chris want to clean up? Observations written on a grocery list. Notes on a Scorecard starts now.
All right, here it is. Stuff I thought about while I watched the game today. And we will get to all of the controversial things that happened in the game, because that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for.
That's what Notes on a Scorecard is.
That's kind of how it all began, yes. First thing I wrote down today, how many will Vasquez walk against a team that hardly ever swings the bat? I thought this was really going to be a struggle, because the Dodgers have the greatest eyes of any team I almost have ever seen. They won't swing at anything. Obviously, that was a moot point. Vasquez was incredible. I thought it was his best outing of the year. You thought he should not have come out of the game. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I would have liked to have seen, look, you keep telling me, right? You keep telling me, Tony, Will Smith, others, hey, this is just June. This isn't October baseball. It's another game. It's important, but it's another game. We got to win. We move on. Well, they didn't manage it that way. They managed this like it was Game 7 of the NLCS.
I'm talking about both sides, too.
Yes, the Dodgers had 8 pitchers today. The Padres had 7. But don't tell me this is a normal game and then take Vasquez out when he's pitching as well as he ever has.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. But as we said, Mike Shildt and the Padres looked at this 361 batting average that he's allowed against third time through the order, and they decided way before the 5th inning ever started that he was coming out of that game because Morejon was already warming up.
So I feel like the
home run he gave up to Conforto had nothing to do with it. He was coming out anyway.
I feel like they already, in that moment, they have departed from their norm.
They did. They totally did.
And that was uncharacteristic of a Mike Shildt decision. He doesn't usually do that.
My point is, I don't know what he said after the game.
I have it.
Well, I don't know. I'm not talking about what he said about this decision, because I know why he made this decision. He didn't want Vasquez to face Ohtani, and Ohtani's a scary guy to face. Yes. So I get it.
Yeah.
Okay? What I want to know is, did he give it the old, it's just 2 out of 3. It's any old series. We move on. Because you can't tell me that after you managed the game the way you did. You managed this like it was Game 7. And the Dodgers did as well.
They did.
So this wasn't any other game. It just wasn't. Somebody tell Will Smith the news.
The more I think about that, the more I think that that's his, he might as well just say, yeah, it is a big series.
Why not?
Because then you just kind of look like you don't care.
Say it was a big series. Why not? We all thought it was.
Who cares? It's another game of June.
No, it wasn't. Second inning, Padres get the first chance of the game to score. First and second, 1 out. And here comes Cronenworth with his paltry 15 RBIs. This is what it is right now. But Jake came through. Base hit, center field, 1-0 Padres. Except for it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're a major league ball player, you got to score on that. Gavin Sheets was out, and I don't know. He slid pretty much right into Will Smith's glove, which I didn't think was great. Maybe he tries to, get around that somehow, but he put his foot right there and basically told Will Smith, here, tag me. He should have made that. I know he's not fast. It was not a stupid decision to send him. That ball was not a line drive. It was a looping line drive that Pajas had to race in. As it turned out, though, he made the fastest throw by a Dodger outfielder this year.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
give him credit where it's due.
Yeah.
But I thought it was 1-0, and it wasn't.
Those are the little mistakes, though.
It's not a mistake.
Oh, those are the little things that.
But they're the little things that make a difference in a game.
Yes,
they make. That's absolutely. This is what win. How many times have I said defense, base running wins games? About 1 million. In fact, you'd get tired of hearing it.
Yes.
That's why I say it. But, the inning carried on. And good base running by Cronenworth got him to second on the throw home. So second and third. Now Iglesias is up with a 3-2 count. These are the little small things that I think about, and I think they think about. With Maldonado on deck and first base open, to me, Iglesias on a 3-2 pitch there has to be expecting a curveball because he doesn't care if he walks him in that spot because he's got the easiest out in the lineup on deck. Guess what? He got a curveball, and Iglesias fouled it off. He just missed it. So anyway, just one of those little things. Didn't really factor in anything. Next pitch was way outside. Ball 4, bases loaded. And then Maldonado walked. You would have walked. I would have walked. Adam Klug would have walked. None of the 4 pitches were close. 1-0 Padres catch a break. And then comes the first big moment of the game. You just had back-to-back walks. And here comes Fernando. The bases are loaded. A shot into the gap makes it 4-0. Changes everything. Vasquez would not have had to come out in the 5th inning because he would have had a lead, a bigger lead, a cushion. Fernando needs to do something here. Here's the problem, and you know it, and I know it. Fernando loves to swing at the first pitch.
Yep.
And that situation does not call for that, right? You just walked 2 straight guys. You can't throw a strike. Fernando cannot swing at the first pitch there. But he did, and he flied out, and the Dodgers are off the hook. Before I go too much more into how dumb of a move that was by Fernando, I just want to point out, in his defense, the pitch was right down the middle. He almost had to swing at it. It was screaming, hit me.
Yes, it was.
But he didn't hit it, the way he wanted to. To me, it wasn't an error by Fernando there. You have to swing at that. It's right there. You're Fernando Tatis.
That's what he does.
You can easily hit a grand slam on a pitch that bad.
But yeah.
Right now he's not going well. He flied out. So that's how I answer the first one.
I'm looking at his splits. Swung at the first pitch. I mean, his batting average isn't great, so this is why these numbers are low. But he has a better batting average by .002 swinging at the first pitch than he does at taking the first pitch.
We know he loves it.
And Sam said it, and I don't know how to feel because I kind of feel the same way. Who am I to tell Fernando not to swing at a pitch down the middle?
It's down the middle. Now, if he would have chased one down and away on the knees at the corner, then I'd be all on his case right now.
Yes.
But he didn't. It was right down the middle. They had to settle for a 1-0 lead. Quick note here, top of the 3rd inning, Hae-Sung Kim comes up. Mark Grant pointed this out, so I want to give Mudcat a nod. Hae-Sung Kim wearing number 6 in a Dodger uniform is tragedy as far as I'm concerned.
Who's number 6?
That is Steve Garvey.
I figured it was.
And Hae-Sung Kim does not belong wearing that number. I cannot believe the Dodgers have not retired it. And, of course, ironically, the Padres have.
So he wouldn't be able to – I don't know if he – was he 6 here?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be able to wear 6 here.
No.
And, yeah.
Look, Hae-Sung Kim doesn't even know who Steve Garvey is, but I know who he is. And he should not – his number should be retired. Of all the Dodgers that have played the last 50 years, Garvey is top 3.
Interesting.
All right. On to the 5th inning. And here's what I wrote down. And the reason I'm going to share it is because by the time I was done writing it down, the game was tied. Vasquez was pitching great. We know this. I saw Morejon warming up. I had a feeling that he was going to need a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th to get through it, and then they go to Morejon to start the 6th. Otherwise, Morejon was coming in. And we already argued whether you didn't like it. I didn't love it, but I get it. They didn't want Vasquez getting a 3rd shot at Ohtani. But before that ever happened, Vasquez fell behind 3-2 on Pages and grooved one right down the middle. And Pages hit the ball about 190 miles an hour right into the glove of Gavin Sheets in left field. And I thought, wow, he got away with one. And I wrote right here, lucky on 3-2 fastball, middle of the plate. Padres crushes it right at, and then by the time I said at, he threw another one to Conforto, and it was over the boards. Game was tied at 1.
All right, let's stop there for 1 second, okay?
You may.
First, happy hour. This is the happy hour. It doesn't seem like it right now, but it is the happy hour, and it's brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts trusted by thousands of San Diegans. Since 2006, baseball season is in full swing, and so is swim season. Call GL Pools and mention radio for a free month of pool service. Here's what Mike Shildt said 2 days ago to reporters. I don't know if this was after the game, before the game, but it was about bullpen and how his bullpen is doing. And he said, quote, we're pushing, piecing it together and competing at the same time. But, we're going to need some depth out of our starters, end quote. That's a Mike Shildt decision to take him out of the game and remove the depth from the starting pitching or whatever, from the starter. And I understand they have a day off tomorrow. They're going to be able to reset. But I feel like I felt like Chris would be right with me on this, and he kind of is. But when someone is pitching, when Randy Vasquez has only walked 1, struck out 4, only given up 2 hits in the game, 1 like 2 previous batters, just why don't you let him try to get out of the inning? Didn't he earn it? And then you bring in Morihone for 2 outs.
I think the Padres,
3 outs. He was 3 outs.
Right. I think the Padres were scared that they weren't going to score again because the Dodgers were going to do their bullpen thing, and I think Shildt and them thought 1-0's going to have to hold up. And I can't let Ohtani hit a 2-run homer, so I have to have Morihone ready to face him. They got scared by the presence of Ohtani. That is what Ohtani can do without even being in the batter's box.
But Ohtani wasn't looking good to begin with.
Doesn't matter. It's still Ohtani.
Yes,
Babe Ruth's coming up. You better be ready.
I know.
That is what you're totally right, but that changed the dynamic of the game. The fact that Ohtani was lurking, and the Padres made the move, and it didn't work today.
I just feel like,
and you're right. Vasquez was pitching great. I think if ever you were going to stick with him for 6 or so innings, today would have been the day, but they didn't. And
I just feel like they moved the timeline up on the game, and it just threw everything out of whack.
They managed the game like a playoff game, and.
But I'm getting crushed for this opinion.
That's fine.
And it is fine. I'm going to stand by this opinion.
What you want and stop worrying about everybody.
Well, it's hard to stop worrying when everybody is angry with you.
Well, I think you're you look. If I was Vasquez, I would have almost started a fist fight out there in the sense of staying in the game. Like, wow, I'm pitching great. What are you doing?
And there's also the thought of they may have told him before he went out there.
They did. I'm sure they did because the guy was already warming up behind him. They didn't make the decision at the last second. They made the decision in the bottom of the 4th inning that the top of the 5th was going to be it for Vasquez.
I don't normally question Mike Shildt because I know he knows more baseball than I ever will, but
I think you have a fair opinion here.
What do you think Tony would say?
He would say he would back the manager.
Which is probably, what the team should do, and they will do.
That did not lose the game.
No.
What lost the game was Adrian Morihone. Can you please learn how to field your position? Monday night, easy comebacker, nonchalant. Oh, I'm so cool. Throws the ball right into the ground. He got away with that one. Today, easier comebacker. Boots it away. Can I also yell at whoever the official scorekeeper is? That is not a hit.
It's definitely an error.
That is such an error. You're a major league player. The ball is rolling into your glove. Do not give Freddie Freeman a hit for that. Anyway, that started the inning. And if that doesn't happen, I'm not so sure that Morihone just doesn't stay in to get the last out of the inning. Or, either way, obviously in came Estrada. It was not his day. And he threw 7 consecutive balls. One of them was swung at by Will Smith, but make no mistake, it still wasn't a strike. And then we got saved because here came the whisperer. Niebla came out and talked to him, and I thought, we're fine. But it didn't work this time, did it?
No.
Teoscar Hernandez, game-deciding blow. On we go. 4-1 Dodgers.
3-run homer, I heard?
It's a 3-run homer, yes. In comes Jack Dreyer. Don't know anything about this guy except for what in the world is a pitcher doing wearing number 86? And what is one doing wearing number 78, Las Casparius? And what is one like Vasquez doing wearing 98? Baseball has lost its mind when it comes to giving numbers out like that. Just another note on a scorecard.
The Dodgers have so many pitchers on their team that the numbers are taken.
Can't anybody be under 45?
No, they don't have the numbers, Chris.
Incredible. The numbers are crazy.
I mean, they already have 6 taken. So,
all right. I have a few more things. We're up at the top of the hour. I want to talk about Manny swinging at the 3-0 pitch because that was the big moment later in the game. I'm not quite to that on my notes here.
We got a lot to break down.
But we'll do that when we come back, and I'll break down the last couple of little things here. I think we already discussed most of what I have written down, and that is from the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Other than Manny, I never felt the Padres were going to get a big hit to get back in the game, and that is because of what we talked about earlier. Right now, it is Manny and pray. And that has got to change soon because they need some help somewhere else.
I got to look up what the team batting average is when they have the bases loaded because I don't feel like they've had a great go at it this year with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to be critical of Arise,
but this is twice this week he's popped up or popped out.
But he's a good hitter. He got a pitch he wanted. He missed it. I can't argue about that. But I can't argue about Manny on the 3-0 pitch. Tell you what I think when we come back, kick off hour number 2. NBA Finals Game 3 is underway. We'll update you on that. And then after I steal a little of his hour, it'll be the Skraby Chronicle hour with me alongside for the ride.
Skrello.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Skrello show.
The Skrello show.
The post-Skrello show.
You people are quite inventive out there.
At least they're having fun today.
More Gwynn and Chris ahead.
Thank you for listening to 97.3 The Fan. Be back shortly. I would be back shortly if the thing will click. See, I'm clicking. I have no idea what's happening. It's not playing any commercials right now. Well, this is just great, everybody. Let me see if I could try to start another one. All right. Well, this is awesome. On the air right now with no help, and there are no commercials to be played. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, everybody? You're getting a real live thing right here. This is real live Matt Skraby. I'm going to have to restart Wide Orbit real quick. So, goodbye, Wide Orbit. It's not even closing. I'm going to text Adam, and I'm going to say, Adam, I tried to go to break, and the commercials did not play. And the program won't shut down. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to do some Control-Alt-Delete over here. Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, I got it. Task Manager. It's not coming up. There it goes. Task Manager came up, everybody. I have no idea. I'm way too generous with my stroke giving. Never mind.
Are you really?
Never mind.
Wait.
I did not mean for that to happen. I did not.
That sounds like a promo to me.
Skraby's giving out strokes. I can't wait to hear that one. I'm going to laugh for a while on that one.
Nate says, Skraby, maybe you should date her.
You might be a generous stroke giver, but I don't think she really wants to leave her boyfriend for that.
All right, that was good. In full disclosure, I'm reading this. Tony can't gather himself right now. That was a good one, Chris. That was a really good one.
So I saw this at 7-Eleven, and I had to get it. It's called the One Chip Challenge. It was sitting there in the aisle, and I thought, why not? Because I am into spicy stuff. But this thing looks pretty hot. I'm not going to lie. It says a Reaper pepper and a Scorpion pepper. It's also in the shape of a coffin, which doesn't make me very happy about that. It doesn't make me feel good. Oh, extreme heat, it says. I'm going to try a little bit first, just so I don't die, I guess. That's the thing I'm saying. This looks... I don't even know if I should be eating this. It looks like it has mold or something, but let's see how hot it is. Let's go. There's a little bit of spice there. It's going. Oh, man. This is hot. Not that bad, though. I still have this side to go. It is getting hot. I'm not going to lie. My mouth is, like, getting crazy. Now it's kicking in. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this. Honestly, it's getting serious. I got to go with the milk. My mouth is dying right now. Yeah, this is not fun, guys. Never gonna do that again because my mouth is on fire.
Thank you for listening to 97.3 The Fan. Be back shortly. I would be back shortly if the thing will click. See, I'm clicking. I have no idea what's happening. It's not playing any commercials right now. Well, this is just great, everybody. Let me see if I could try to start another one. All right. Well, this is awesome. On the air right now with no help, and there are no commercials to be played. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, everybody? You're getting a real live thing right here. This is real live Matt Skraby. I'm going to have to restart Wide Orbit real quick. So, goodbye, Wide Orbit. It's not even closing. I'm going to text Adam, and I'm going to say, Adam, I tried to go to break, and the commercials did not play. And the program won't shut down. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to do some Control-Alt-Delete over here. Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, I got it. Task Manager. It's not coming up. There it goes. Task Manager came up, everybody. I have no idea. I'm way too generous with my stroke giving. Never mind.
Are you really?
Never mind.
Wait.
I did not mean for that to happen. I did not.
That sounds like a promo to me.
Skraby's giving out strokes. I can't wait to hear that one. I'm going to laugh for a while on that one.
Nate says, Skraby, maybe you should date her.
You might be a generous stroke giver, but I don't think she really wants to leave her boyfriend for that.
All right, that was good. In full disclosure, I'm reading this. Tony can't gather himself right now. That was a good one, Chris. That was a really good one.
So I saw this at 7-Eleven, and I had to get it. It's called the One Chip Challenge. It was sitting there in the aisle, and
Mike Schilt introducing at least one of the co-hosts of this particular show who thinks that he stinks and did a terrible job today.
Why'd you say that, Chris?
Because you were unhappy with his decision.
I'm never on it. I always defer to those guys for their decision making.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
You've said this for years. Sometimes the game you just need to go by the feel and not what's on a piece of paper.
I love a little bit of seat of your pants managing and coaching. I do, and it's missing from baseball. I don't think it's necessarily missing from Mike Schilt. I think he's willing to do that, in certain situations. Yeah. I don't think he's 100% by the book. But today, I understood. Once I saw Morejon warming up, I thought, God, you're going to take Vasquez out, aren't you? Like the fifth inning. But at the same time, and I didn't even know the 361 thing, that was the average against Vasquez. I just knew that Ohtani scares you so much that you feel like you need a fresh pitcher to see him a third time.
I don't disagree with that. Ohtani is very, very scary because he can do whatever he wants on a baseball field. The third time through the lineup thing was a very common response to my tweet.
Yeah.
And I get it. I look at those numbers too, but usually Vasquez is at his 95th pitch and he's walked 5 guys by that point.
Right.
Today
so it's a different situation.
Vasquez.
No,
yes.
Today was not that Vasquez. Like I said, everything went into it. It was 1-0. It was Ohtani. It was a day off tomorrow. It was everything. And the Padres thought, let's just try to win this 1-0. If you go back, they've won a couple of games 2-1 like that this year where they weren't hitting. Not that far back. I'm talking about this season. They won games 2-1, 3-2, where they went to the bullpen in the 6th inning and just locked it down.
That was also when the bullpen wasn't giving up anything.
Well, the bullpen, other than, look, Estrada had a bad day, but Morejon not fielding that ground ball is what killed me.
Those things drive me
Well,
crazy.
second time this week they've messed up a ground ball.
I mean, come on. All right, let's quickly discuss Manny's at bat in the. Was it the 7th or the 8th inning? It was the 7th inning, I believe.
Because they
they went down quickly in the 8th and the 9th.
Once I saw that it was going to be the bottom of the order, I'm like, this might be over.
Right, yeah. And you know who else saw that it was going to be the bottom of the order? Dave Roberts.
Yes.
And that is why he used Yates in the 7th and Tanner Scott in the 8th. He used his best two guys in the 7th and 8th, saved Vesia for the 9th because he knew Vesia was going to be facing the bottom of the order, and I could get out the bottom of the order.
I wonder who's talked about that strategy before.
A lot of people have.
You have.
Yeah.
You have.
But a lot of managers do it. The Padres don't need to do it because they're locked in with their 7, 8, 9. The Dodgers mix and match guys. And also last year, a couple times, Schilt used Vasquez to pitch the 8th. And somebody else to pitch the 9th. I remember it for sure. I think it was Estrada got the 9th. Then Suarez pitched the 8th. So Schilt's done it before too. Dave Roberts did it today. But back to Manny. Bases loaded. We get it. Michael Kopech walks. The bases loaded. Now, when Arise comes up, understand that they changed pitchers. Banda came in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the same as Fernando immediately swinging earlier in the game because now you had a different pitcher
who's fresh.
But Vasquez or Arise took a strike or a ball.
Yeah, ball. It was on the ground.
And then he got one that he liked. And he took a hack and he popped up. And I guarantee you he wanted to squeeze.
Did you see his reaction? He was
celebrate?
Yeah, he was like angry and he took the bat and he was like, looked like he was going to try to break the bat.
Got to be one of the worst feelings for any hitter ever. Bases
Especially
loaded,
and you're a contact guy.
Game on the line,
That's
and you
his zone.
pop up a pitch like that. But again, I'm not on his case for it. He took a hack. It didn't work. Next up, Manny. Ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. Here's the game inside of the game. Who is on deck? Do you know?
Jack.
Of course you do. And how is he doing right about now?
Oh, my fantasy team tells me he's not doing great.
He's not doing well, is he? And who is on the mound? A left-handed pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think happened there. Couple things. First of all, Banda did not certainly want to walk Manny with the bases loaded. Okay,
No.
You don't want to just force in a run. But I don't think he would have minded it. Because I think he felt he would have a better chance of getting out Jackson Merrill. And better to walk Manny than have Manny hit a 3-run double or a grand slam. So what did Banda do? He nibbled at the strike zone. He didn't throw any pitches in the middle of the zone. He went outside, he went up, he went outside again, and now it's 3-0. And I think what happened is that for a brief second, Manny thought, if this pitch is close on, the fourth pitch, I got to do something with it because it's going to be up to me, as it has been for the last 3 weeks, to win the game. And so he swung. And unfortunately, and I'm pretty sure Manny would admit to this, he didn't swing at a ball. It was a strike. But he didn't swing at a hitter's strike.
Yeah.
He swung at a pitch that was kind of really toward and almost on the outside corner, and he grounded out. To me, if Jackson Merrill is hitting the way he was hitting in April or a month ago,
different story.
Totally different story. Totally different story. I think Manny says, hey, I'll just pass the baton to the next guy because he's red hot.
I don't disagree with you.
Should Manny have walked, not swung? In hindsight, of course. But who's been winning every game? Manny.
Yeah.
He knows it. You know it. I know it.
Everybody knows it. I thought this was like perfect situation that's lining up for them. They're going to have Manny up.
He felt he needed to do.
Loaded, down a
the
couple.
Unfortunate thing was the pitch was not really a hittable strike. It was a strike, but not a great one. And if he had to do it again, he could have taken that one and then maybe got another good pitch to hit on 3-1. But it didn't work out that way. So I'm not pissed at Manny either. I understand why he did what he did, because you have to take in all of the circumstances surrounding it. And I also believe that Banda didn't care if he walked him. It's weird, but a walk is better than facing the best hitter in the game and letting him win the game.
Yeah.
A walk, you're still winning. And there's an old story about Jim Palmer. Do you know who he is? He's a Hall of Fame right-handed pitcher for the Orioles.
MLB The Show. He's on my Diamond Dynasty team.
Well, he's pretty damn good, and he's in the Hall of Fame, and he won Cy Youngs, and he pitched for your guy, Earl Weaver. Jim Palmer. Jim, I got to look Jim up real quick just to put this in perspective. Hey, give me just a quarter of a second here.
It's all right.
While I look this up. Jim Palmer, by the way, did not grow up in Beverly Hills. But when he was a little kid, he evidently lived in Beverly Hills.
Oh.
Because Jim Palmer, when I was a kid, held the home run hitting record for my little league.
What?
Yeah,
There's a record?
They had a little book, and they said most home runs in one season.
That's insane.
And it was Jim Palmer.
That's insane.
Anyway, so Jim Palmer pitched in the major leagues. Get this, Skraby. 3,948 innings.
It's kind of a lot.
It's a lot. He faced 16,000 batters.
Wow.
In his illustrious career. Jim Palmer gave up 0 grand slams. Never won.
That's crazy.
And here's the point of it that goes a little beyond it. He walked 6 guys with the bases loaded that scored runs in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 times the bases were loaded, and he didn't intentionally walk them, but he gave up a walk and the run scored. But he obviously didn't give up a grand slam to the next guy because he never gave up a grand slam. Tim Kurkjian looked up the 6 batters that Jim Palmer walked with the bases loaded, because Tim Kurkjian's crazier than I am.
That would take some time.
Tim Kurkjian looked it up. The 6 guys that Jim Palmer pitched around with the bases loaded. And he walked up to Jim Palmer. It's many years ago. Kurkjian wrote for the Orioles, covered the Orioles before ESPN. And he said, "Hey, Jim, I want to run 6 names by you and let me know what you think they have in common." And this is way after Jim Palmer's career.
Okay.
Tim Kurkjian named the first 2 names, and Jim Palmer said, "Oh, stop. Those are the guys that I walked with the bases loaded."
Of course he knew that.
Yeah, he remembered. He knew which guy. That's the kind of attention.
How does that connect, though? I'm not following.
It connects to today because Anthony Banda, I believe, was willing to walk Manny Machado with the bases loaded,
which doesn't
rather
happen.
than give him a chance to give it a grand slam.
I see. Yeah,
that's where it comes into play.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't, that I don't disagree with that either.
Yeah,
if I'm facing someone, I'd much rather face Jackson Merrill than Manny
lefty
Machado.
on lefty, and Jackson is not hitting well right now.
He's struggling. He's not seeing the ball well, as he's fully admitted before.
So that's what all went into all of that.
I saw a chat comment that said basically, and I let it go by, but it basically said every team's fan base does this after every loss.
Does what?
Just breaks
thinks that
down
the season's over.
Yeah, thinks that the season's over. I get it. Last night's game, and I want to talk about last night's game in my first segment.
Okay.
But last night's game was strange. It was weird. Everything felt off since last night in the baseball world. And I think the Padres are going to be fine. As long as they win, they keep winning, just get to the trade deadline. AJ needs to make a move, though. He has to.
I'm sure he's trying to.
I'm sure he is too. But he has to.
Yes,
it has to come sooner rather than later.
No, the season did not end today. It doesn't change the fact that I recognize the Dodgers having just a deeper lineup by quite a margin. And can the Padres keep up with them? I don't think that they can, the way things are currently constructed.
Agreed.
Which goes back to what you just said, which is they've got to try to do something because they're going to need to do it. They just are.
Your guy Gavin Sheets in left field. he's not a left fielder. We all know this, but he can play it.
He survived it today. But here's the thing, man. Gavin is, or what are they calling him?
Holy Sheets.
Holy Sheets.
Gary
Bonds, MVP. He's hitting 180 against lefties. He's not a threat.
But he's your power guy.
No, you have no choice. Who are you going to put in? Brandon Lockridge going to bat fifth?
No, not Campisano either.
Evidently not. Sheets is doing it because he's all they have.
And Jose Iglesias isn't hitting as well as he did last year.
Iglesias is not a threat either. You're right.
The bench is strong defensively, but it's not strong when you need to pull someone in. Like they had no, and you just said this, they had no right-handed hitter to put up there.
They don't. So who had to bat against? Was it Tanner Scott?
Yeah.
And Vesia, two lefties at the end of the game. Jackson Merrill, Gavin Sheets, Jake Cronenworth, and Tyler Wade. 4 lefties had to bat against 2 really strong left-handed relievers because the Padres have no other options.
They have no other options. But that's why AJ needs to be on the phone now.
We know. But make no mistake, Skraby and I haven't given up on this team at all.
I will not. I refuse to.
In fact, I said, and I'll say it again, I still believe we have October baseball in our future. But I'm upset to lose 2 out of 3 here.
Especially a series, I felt like winnable series. They could have won the Monday night's game.
Could have won them all.
Could have won it today.
Yeah, could have
won that weird sideshow carnival game that they had last night. We'll talk about shortly.
Could have won them all. Skraby takes over with the Chronicle part of the show next after no more traffic, so you have to make it home on your own.
This next song goes.
over. Chronicle time in the what are they calling it? The Skrello show.
Skrello show.
All right, we're here till 7:00. If you just happen to be tuning in, Dodgers 5, Padres 2. Spent the last hour and a half haranguing about that.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City was leading last I looked, 34-28 over Indiana. Second quarter, Game 3, NBA Finals. One quick note, Oklahoma is 0-7 against the spread on the road in this year's playoffs. It's a little late to bet on the game, but it's something to keep an eye on tonight. We'll see where that goes.
I'm trying to get into this. I just
know.
am having a real hard time getting into it.
Well, they told us that Oklahoma City's the greatest team probably in NBA history. So you really ought to be enjoying that performance, but so far, not really getting there either.
All right,
although game 1 was a hell of a finish, I will say that.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
This hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Overwhelmed by processed foods? U.S. Wellness Meats offers an all-natural alternative, 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more. Shipped free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. So let's talk about last night, because I was thinking about you the entire time, Chris.
You were thinking of who?
You.
Me.
Because of how weird last night was.
Okay.
I have no issues with them leaving Sauer in the game for as long as they did. People are like, oh, this is coaching malpractice. He's putting his career on the line. Did you listen to the guy's comments after the game? He did not care. He said he knew his job was to eat as many innings as he possibly could.
Does anybody who sang that understand that? What's his first name? Mark Sauer?
I think it's Matt.
Matt Sauer. Does anybody understand that the two unsung heroes of today's Dodger victory were Matt Sauer and Kike Hernandez?
Yeah.
Because they went out last night and took a beating so that the Dodgers would have a chance to win today.
Yes.
Okay, you get that.
I do.
But I'm pointing it out to everybody else.
And I think
Dave Roberts did that intentionally. Once the game was 4-0, 5-0 last night, he's like, hey, I'm not winning this game, but I don't want to waste my bullpen so that I lose tomorrow also.
I absolutely hate
very
that.
Smart. Very
hate that.
Hate that or hate?
You know why? Because you should not be able to play for you should not be shorthanded at a bullpen to the point where you're using position player in the
Well, they're certainly not shorthanded. They got 35 bullpen guys.
I mean, there was no guys in AAA that you could have called up and had ready to go. Number one, Sauer pitched 11 or 111 pitches. That's not my issue.
He gave up 13 hits. That's a lot.
And a lot of runs too. He definitely wore that game last night for the Dodgers, and I think they all appreciate it.
Yeah.
My issue is that Dave Roberts pulled the plug on that game so early, but no one. That's a loser move to me. That is a loser move.
It's a loser move to you, but it's a winning move to the Dodgers because they left town winning the series.
I get it, but like. Why? And my
why
first question in the Big
Five,
Five.
You keep calling it a loser move?
Because I think it is a loser move. I get what the reasoning is behind it, but I think that when you were like Dave Roberts is always trying to outthink the room,
but when he does, you don't like it.
Exactly, because he doesn't need to do stuff like that.
What?
Really? You're going to put in Kike Hernandez for 2 1/3? 2 1/3. Like that was your plan? That was ridiculous to me. And I figured you have no issues with the guy throwing 111 pitches.
No, look, you're going on and on and on about how upset you are, but you're not giving me a good reason to be upset
because
they lost the game. Would you? I'll try to get you in football terms, but it's different because you don't play till the next week. But do you have a problem with Brock Purdy being taken out of the game to start the fourth quarter when you're down 51-0?
It's different.
Why?
It's way different to me. Because baseball is when you're throwing in Kike Hernandez, like all those people, and you're gonna roll your eyes at me for this comment, but all those people that went for a game ended up seeing a sideshow. And there should be some sort of rule.
There is
8 runs. But they need to put a minimum inning rule in. Like, you can't bring in a position player until the 7th or 8th inning.
Okay.
And
maybe they'll change that.
And the
now
only
that
reason
the Dodgers are the first team to use a pitcher in the 6th inning like that in like 60 years.
I would
so maybe
assume.
baseball will put a rule in for it.
They won.
You might be right on that.
They won the series, yes. But I did not like what happened last night.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't like it was because that's not competitive baseball. You went and threw in the towel in like the 4th inning, decided that Sauer was just going to go out there and, be, I think Jesse described it as being the goat tied up to the stick in Jurassic Park, which is exactly what he was. Again, I don't feel bad for Sauer. I don't. He can pitch 111
by the way,
pitches.
if Sauer didn't want to be the goat tied to the stick in Jurassic Park, he could have tried getting somebody out. But you know what? He couldn't. And, once the game got to 4-5-0, Dave Roberts knew his best chance to win the series was to rest the rest of his bullpen, which is exactly what he did. And it's exactly what he needed to do because he needed every one of those guys today. So what he was doing was smart for his ball club. I'm sorry.
It made a joke out of the game last night.
Okay.
I find that highly embarrassing for the Dodgers, even though that they won the series. Okay, fine. For a series that they didn't really care about, they seem to care about it quite a lot, Chris.
Will Smith didn't care about it.
Vesia was
did.
acting like it was the World Series, but apparently it's not that big of a deal. And I know that I'm coming off as a whiner right now. I know that.
Okay. Well,
I just think
don't let me get in your way then.
There should be some sort of a penalty if you do not have enough arms to come out of the bullpen and you have to throw a position player in there. Like, he at one point said, Sauer, give up all the runs you can, because immediately, as soon as that 8th run crossed, Dave Roberts was out there getting him. And that was their plan. That should not be that loophole should not be there for teams.
Are you yelling at Mike Schilt if and when he has to do the same thing?
I don't think he will.
Season? You don't?
I don't.
Really?
I don't think he will.
Oh, yeah?
In the 6th?
Have the Padres had a position player pitch?
No, they have, but
Tyler
it's also...
Wade's pitched.
Yeah, but it wasn't the 6th inning.
The 7th? What difference does it make?
Which game was that? Was that the Rockies?
I don't know. Maybe the 7th or 8th inning, but so what?
I just think it's a loophole.
I don't hate what you're saying here. I think baseball maybe needs to put something in that says we can't have position players pitching before the 8th inning. I'll give you that one.
I just don't like. I can't.
But at the same time, Kike Hernandez was more effective than anybody else last night, pretty much. 2 1/3 innings, you only gave him like 2 hits.
I mean, it turned into a softball game.
Okay.
And that's not okay.
Okay, you've made your point, and I don't hate it.
What did you think about them leaving the goat out on the stick, Matt Sauer?
Again, you have to do what's best for your team. I give Sauer credit for taking it and wearing it. And I guarantee his team appreciated it.
James says, let's sign Kike to our bullpen.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the best pitchers in baseball right now is a guy in the Phillies, Weston Wilson. He's a left fielder. I think he's pitched 5 or 6 scoreless innings out of the bullpen so far this year for the Phillies.
In the 6th inning?
No. He's 7th and 8th or 9th inning. He comes in, pitches 2 innings when they need it. Look, it's...
I think I have a hangover. I think I have a hangover from last year.
What you're trying to say is that every team's got to try as hard as they can to win every game.
Exactly.
And we've told you that that's not how it works in baseball. And we've been telling you that for years, that every now and again, you have to rest Robert Suarez and pitch somebody else because it's better for the long run.
I never expected them to put their closer in, but they should be responsible to have some arms in the bullpen. What if Sauer hurt himself? Where are they going to go then? They can't. They had no one to go to. So what would they have done? They can't pitch a position player. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, you're done.
I think I have a hangover from last year because someone reminded me last night about the phrase sinister sling. Remember that, Chris?
No.
When Manny threw the ball at Dave Roberts and he made a big deal and they call it the sinister sling.
So you still hate Dave Roberts?
Rosenthal wrote that article that was not good.
No, Ken Rosenthal's. I've completely lost all respect for him at that point. And we are now, 8 months past that? I've not listened or read one thing he said since.
Interesting.
I
there
mean,
you
have it.
I only click
Could
when
care
it has
less.
Padres-related
Could
stuff.
care less what Ken Rosenthal has to say right now.
I know.
It's of no interest to me.
All right. I'm surprised you didn't have more of a thought.
On what?
On last night, but
I
get
gave it to you. I think the Dodgers did what they had to do,
Yes,
and
I
you're
know.
upset because it kind of turned out to work today.
That's probably true.
Yes, last night was all about trying to win today.
If the
I
Padres
don't have
win
a problem
today,
with it.
I don't know that I'm as mad.
Didn't the Dodgers cough up game 3 almost of last year's playoff in order to rest the bullpen so that they could have a bullpen game in 4 and 5?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I have to go back, but I thought they did something similar in the playoff last year. I'm almost sure they gave up a playoff game.
I can tell you right now, though, if the Padres are at Chavez Ravine and they threw in a position player, there's things being thrown on the field.
Oh, I think you're wrong. Well, there might be things thrown on the field just because, but I don't think it's going to be because of that.
I know. Now I'm taking it too far. All right, that's it. I mean,
did the Rockies bring somebody in when it was 21-0? I think they did.
I got to go look back at that, but
they did. Jacob Stallings, their catcher, pitched the.
I think that's a
8th or 9th inning.
Completely different situation.
Well, every team in baseball is doing it, not just the Dodgers. Take a break. You're running the show.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We have the Big Five coming up next. And in the Big Five, I guess I'm going to have to get rid of my question about the minimum inning thing. But we're going to talk about Sandy Alcantara. We'll also talk about what the Chiefs are doing with a possible new stadium in Kansas City. So, Big Five up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Gwynn and Chris.
6:37 on the Skrello Hour.
Love it.
Chris Hello and Matt Skraby. You guys call it the Skrello Hour. Fine with me. 5-2 Dodgers over the Padres. Indiana 51, Oklahoma City 49. So a close game so far. Second quarter, 3 minutes left. Game 3, NBA Finals. Skraby's got a big five.
I do.
To wrap up the show today. I don't know what more we can, go Dodger Padre. Let's at least save something. There's 4 more games next week. So, we better at least hold something back for that. Diamondbacks are first. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So they got 4 against the Dodgers next week. They could
that's
take
what I
that
just said.
I know they could take that series.
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
They win all 4, and I might be willing to admit that
if they
the
win
Padres,
3, you will.
If they win all 4, I'll say that maybe the Dodgers aren't better, but God, they look better. All right, give me a big 5, Skraby. I've had enough of the Padre whining. Yeah. It's time to turn the page.
Time to turn the page is right.
Yeah.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big 5 starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's get started here. There we go. Jeez, it didn't move for a second. We'll get started.
Number 5.
And I'm just going to keep the question that I had. And that one is, we've already kind of talked about, but I don't know. I don't have another question for you. The position player pitching.
Okay.
And this was before we went into this last segment.
Right.
Do you think they really do need a minimum inning for them to enter the game? Because 6th inning to me is too early.
Okay, well, understand this. I think they're headed there.
Okay.
Because as of last year, there were no restrictions.
And then there were
you
some
could start the game with Kike Hernandez if you wanted to.
Yes.
At least now they put it in that you have to be 8 runs or further behind.
Correct.
I think they'll see what the Dodgers did last night, pitching him in the 6th inning. I think they will frown on that. And I think they will probably try to say 8-run lead, 8th inning or later, because otherwise it's a little silly.
I have a better question I just thought of. Don and Mud were talking about this last night.
Okay.
Do you want to see, as Mud called it, a slaughter rule?
No.
I don't either.
I hate that.
I don't either. You can't just
end
the game.
You walk off the game in the bottom of the. Well, first of all, again, you just said you think it's a mockery for the fans. Should the fans go home in the 5th inning if the score is 14-1?
No, you shouldn't.
You're paying $130 to get into the game, or more.
I don't think that they should make a run rule or anything like that.
Right.
Don said maybe 12 runs is like the run rule. I would have to say, like, if they're going to come up with a run rule, it's got to be like 15 or 20 runs.
No run rule. Don't even go there.
I agree.
I get why Don and Mud want it, because they like to get home.
Well, that's
after
what
the game.
Don said.
Yeah.
5. He said 5 and fly or something like
Don,
that.
Look, let me tell you something. You've never seen a human being move faster, and this includes Usain Bolt. You've never seen a human being move faster than Don Orsillo getting out of the game after he's done broadcasting. It is a sight to behold.
It is. It's great because he knows what happens if he takes
and
any
he knows
extra.
He knows how to get to the car, the quickest route. He doesn't. He kind of holds his gear like a football,
and he just
rumbles
goes
through the crowd.
Yes.
And everybody's yelling at him, "Hey Don, hey Don!" And he's like, "Hi." He's very pleasant,
of course,
but
But he wants to miss the traffic that we're all trying to miss. So he's a very smart man for getting out there.
I sat in it for 1 hour.
And that's exactly what Don does not want to do.
I sat in for an hour, and I'm not talking about it took me an hour to get home. It took me an hour to get out of the tailgate lot itself. Somebody please cut a hole in the fence and put another exit in.
I think it was a Dodgers-Padres thing. But because I've been in the tailgate lot before, and it's taken 20, 30 minutes, but that's the
tailgate lot has one exit. And
I thought there was another one on the other side.
Different lines. Oh, is there? Well, I didn't see that one.
Anyway, I know it took a lot of people a long time to get out of the park on Monday night.
One more thing on Don Orsillo.
Yes.
Jake Cronenworth almost hit him with a foul ball in the 9th inning today.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, fouled it right into the booth. Don Orsillo was under the desk, came out from under the desk and said, "Hey, this is not the Crone zone up here."
That's funny.
It was
That's
funny.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on from this now.
Number 4.
A trade deadline name that we are going to hear lots about is Marlins pitcher Sandy Alcantara. The 2022 National League Cy Young winner missed the entire 2024 season with Tommy John surgery, but this is not the year that he has wanted so far. Through 13 starts, he has a 7.14 ERA with a lot of ugly numbers. So, Chris, if the price was right, would you still trade for him, hoping to turn it around?
So you're asking me, should the Padres trade for Sandy Alcantara?
Sure. I was making it general, but you sure? Yeah.
Well, I to answer your first question, there's no question somebody's going to trade for him
and hope for the best.
Absolutely, and they're probably going to get something because the 7.14 ERA you just talked about.
Yep,
that looks awful. But last month it was 8.42. Then it went down to 8.10. Then it went down to 7.99.
So he's getting better.
7.89. Now 7.14.
He's definitely getting better.
He's trending slowly. I will say his last 2 starts have been against Colorado and Pittsburgh. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Whatever gets you back on track.
But the fact that he's trending, he's going to be traded. And it's just a matter of who's going to put together the package to get him.
It's going to be really interesting, though.
I will hold my breath when he pitches for the Padres if they get him. Again, though, how are the Padres going to get him? With what? Are they going to get him? With what?
I don't think he's going to be very, very expensive.
Somebody who follows.
I don't think he's
somebody
Ethan
follows
Salas.
What?
I don't think I don't think that they would trade any of those guys.
Well, they're not
Sandy
going to.
Alcantara.
Okay, all right. Let me clarify. They're not going to trade Ethan Salas or DeVries. So how are they going to get him? Because they don't have anything else.
They do.
Okay.
They have Cash Mayfield's a good name.
Okay.
I know another good name is Boston Bateman.
Okay.
They got some guys.
Okay.
But I would hope for the best and trade for him because he has talent. It just didn't disappear. Maybe the Tommy John thing
pretty much disappeared.
Maybe the Tommy John
Since
thing
winning
is
the Cy Young,
something we should pay attention to.
Good.
But yeah, anyway.
Number 3.
The Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant's business partner, boardroom CEO Rich Kleinman, have met multiple times over the past week and are sifting through trade scenarios, sources told ESPN. The two sides are expected to work together on potential destinations, and teams that have expressed interest in Durant mainly feature the Rockets, Spurs, Heat, Timberwolves, and Knicks. Several wildcard suitors have made inquiries on Durant in the past 7 to 10 days, sources said. I'm up first. Has the amount of teams KD has played for made you think less of him as a player? My answer, it might not be a fair one, but yes. I do not like the NBA and the constant moving of these guys. Like, they give up on their situation so easy all the time. KD has played for, I don't know, 6 or 7 teams, Chris? Maybe
4.
More?
4.
That's not as much as I thought, but he'll have a 5th team pretty soon. I don't like how easy it is for the NBA to allow their players out of their, not contracts, but out of their situations. Chris?
Life has changed. For an example, I will take you to the Chargers in the early 80s. They had a wide receiver named John Jefferson. He was really good. Caught a bunch of stuff from Fouts, highlight reel stuff, all pro. Kept asking for a contract extension and a raise every year. And they gave him one, then he asked for it again. Then they gave him one, and he asked for it again. Finally, he asked for it again, and they said enough's enough.
Oh, yeah, you told me this.
And they shipped him to Green Bay, which at the time was the worst team in the league and about the furthest away from San Diego weather-wise you could get.
Yeah.
John Jefferson was hardly ever heard from again. Fast forward to now. Wouldn't it be nice if the Phoenix Suns could say to Kevin Durant, kind of tired of your act.
Yeah.
You can be traded, but we're going to decide where it goes. And we've decided that Charlotte sounds about right for you.
Yeah, why not?
Right? Wouldn't it be cool?
I wonder if he probably has some no trade clause.
Well, of course he does, and of course he will decide where he gets traded.
That's the problem.
And it is annoying, yes, but the bottom line is it's gone too far this way. Because John Jefferson had no control back then.
Mm-hmm.
At least he should have had some.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant has way too much control now.
I mean, he's handpicking
he should
where he
have
goes.
less. And he has been doing that his entire career. Yes.
Apparently, he never wants to play for the Warriors again, though. So
fine.
I don't know why, but which one are we on now?
Number 2.
Who did Kevin Durant play for when he won the Rookie of the Year award?
Sonics.
Yep. Seattle.
I do remember that.
Sonics.
He's been in the league forever.
2008.
That is a long time.
Yep.
17 years?
17th year just finished up.
All right, the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs,
still averaged 18 a game this year. Not bad. Or no, wait. No, I take it back. He averaged 26-6. What am I talking about?
Very good.
26-6.
He's got to be not my age.
He's 36 years old.
I was going to say, he's got to be high 30s.
Still 26-6. Man.
That is pretty good.
Pretty good.
The Chiefs are on track to get the public money they need to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. Along the way, though, they have unlocked an opportunity to get a new stadium in the state of Kansas.
Okay.
Now, in the coming days, the Missouri legislature could be approving a plan to pay for 50% of a $1.15 billion overhaul of Arrowhead. The other option would entail a significantly more expensive new stadium that will have a roof and, in turn, more events in the non-football season and a potential Super Bowl. The Chiefs have said they do want a dome, but Arrowhead is a place with a vibe that will be difficult to replicate, is what they said. So a full decision has to be coming soon. Kansas has set the expiration for their offer at the end of this month.
Okay.
So, Chris, would you like to see Arrowhead continue or a new domed Kansas City Stadium?
I don't care because I'm not there. But you know that Denver is on the verge of building a new dome stadium.
Wait,
and
for the Broncos?
Yes. Invesco Field is now 20 years. It's not Invesco Field. It's something else now.
Yeah.
But that's like 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it's not domed, and they can't get a Super Bowl or have a... Hang on.
Denver.
They're willing to pay the money. The people in Denver will give them the money. They want it. They'll give the owner who already doesn't need the money, but they will support it, and they will, figure out a deal. If the people in Kansas or Kansas City or Missouri, wherever, want to do this, I say move some of those people to San Diego so that we could have enough people here who wanted to donate so that we could have a stadium.
That would be nice.
This is my argument every time.
That would be nice.
Everywhere in the country, Charlotte, New Orleans, Kansas City, Denver, these little ho-dunk towns, they all have people
there.
You know what I mean? No, people know what I mean. Everywhere it seems, but here, people are willing to say, yeah, we want the entertainment of a big stadium with a dome on it so that we can get a Super Bowl, etc.
And I totally get it. I lived in Cincinnati for a year. There's not much to do outside of
and
going
also
to
the
sports.
people in Cincinnati are still paying for all the money they donated to that Bengal stadium.
Yes, they are.
But they're willing to do it because they want to go see football. Denver's willing to. Kansas City's willing to. Good for them.
In my mind, the only sports that should be played in a dome outside of like basketball and hockey and stuff, baseball should be played in a dome because of all the rainouts and all that stuff.
I would love it.
Football needs to be outdoors.
I would love it if the NFL, was willing to play a championship game in the snow, but
they kind of
really
sort
aren't.
of tried when they went to New York.
Yeah,
that
but
one
then
year.
it was perfect weather that year.
It was very, very nice weather, but
yeah.
I think the Arrowhead, they need to keep Arrowhead. That is a huge part of the Chiefs franchise history.
I miss snow games. I don't like the fact that fields are so nice now that they never turn muddy. But the bottom line is we have now the technology to do this, so this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes. And you know what? It would have probably cost each of us out here, I don't know, $5, $10 on our taxes. We would have had to give the money and help Spanos, I know. But we would have a team. We would have Super Bowls. We'd probably even have Final Fours because San Diego is the number one destination for everyone. And I'd still be willing to take that over spending the money on fixing potholes that never got fixed anyway.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, you already got me started. So there you go.
I drove over a pothole the other day.
I know.
And I screamed.
I know.
I was like, why?
It's okay, though. We have enough money to make 500 more miles of bike lanes. Thank goodness for that.
Maybe we need to do a news talk show, Chris, because we got plenty of city things that we could talk about here.
Yeah, it's
craziness.
Yeah.
Number 1.
While the New York Knicks continue to search for his replacement, Tom Thibodeau sent a classy message to the city where he got to live out his quote-unquote dream job. In a fitting old-school kind of way, Thibodeau took out an ad in the New York Times to thank New York City and Knicks fans today. I looked, and I found out. Now, a full-page Sunday ad costs around $250,000.
$250,000.
A weekday ad is around $54,000.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he spent anywhere between $40,000 and $60,000.
Pretty good.
Why spend the money when you could do it for free on social media? And I think the answer for me is that he's an old school guy. This is how he's going to communicate to his people.
A lot of people like to take an ad out in the city that they played, and I think it's far more classy, and it shows a lot more caring and a personal touch.
I get
rather
that, yeah.
than a simple tweet, which I know what you're saying can do the job, but doesn't carry the same weight, even still, as a full-page ad in a newspaper. That's a great move by Tibbs. And I'd also like to say, who do the Knicks think they are that they can just call every franchise in the NBA and beg for their coach?
Oh, they did that with the Mavs.
Thank goodness the Mavs said no, Minnesota said no, Chicago said no. Like, why should these teams give the Knicks their coach? Who are the Knicks? Other than one of the worst franchises in the league and one of the dumbest.
Yes.
So good for all the NBA teams for saying, no, can't have my coach.
For a guy who looks very angry all the time, and Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, this was a good move, right?
Yeah.
Right? It
seems like a happy guy.
Changes your opinion of him a little bit.
A little bit.
Whereas a tweet would have had no effect.
No, and he paid money out of his pocket for this.
Yeah, he paid $50,000 probably, $40,000.
That
good for him.
Goes a long way with me.
And me too. You asked why he did it. There's your answer.
All right, that's it for the Big Five. Wow. That was fast.
It was good, and we're at halftime of the NBA game, so I'll get home. I might watch the second half. Pacers lead 64-60 over the Thunder with the series tied at 1. So Game 3 rolls on there. Tomorrow we have the 10 a.m. Padre Roundtable, an hour of commercial-free Padre talk. Ben Higgins, Stephen Woods, myself, everyone else. That's tomorrow morning, 10 to 11.
5 seconds.
If you miss it, we'll replay it later. We're on at 2. See you then.
Bye.